Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to Wizard World Virtual Experiences as the crowd emojis wildly. You can also applaud and hoop and holler and make some noise from the comfort and safety of your home. We are Wizard World, and we are bringing to you a free stream live on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and Twitch, coming straight to your home, trying to recreate that convention life. These are our rewatch parties. We do them on Wednesdays and Thursday nights. We take a look back at some of our favorite celebrity panels from the weekend, bring on our favorite nerds, podcasters, bloggers, YouTubers. We have a child psychologist, someone studying to be a child psychologist on the call tonight, comic book creators, artists. We all come to this fun Zoom meeting and nerd out about our favorite properties. And this week, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Thursday, everybody. Alliteration. We have folks tuning in right now in the chat from Madison, Wisconsin, Ventura, California, Rochester, Minnesota. We have Nostalgic Pod Blast, Chance, hanging out with us. He's one of our favorite guests on these and always comes out and hangs in the chat. He says he is a proud owner of the first comic book appearance from 1983. Oh man, we should have had him on to talk about that.
That would be dope.
Yeah, Vancouver, Washington, and Portland, Oregon in the house as well. We are very excited. We had two panels over the last few weeks. We had panels with the voice actors from the 1987 animated series, and really they continued those voices throughout the 90s. And then some of the actors from the original 1990, right? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action film. We're going to watch some of our favorite clips from both of those panels, but just remember, we're just kind of scratching the surface. 50-minute, hour-long panels you should go back and watch in our video archive session. But we're going to watch some of our favorite clips tonight. Feel free to chat away in these streams, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Throw in your favorite turtles, throw in your favorite iterations of the turtles. My gosh, they've been back and reimagined so many times over the last 20 years. We're going to talk about tonight, but let us know what your favorite version is, starting all the way back with the comic books. And yeah, throw that in the chat and we'll get to as many questions or comments or reactions as we can. But let's get our guests out here. I am very excited. This is our largest rewatch party panel. So we could be here for 2 hours. So I hope you buckle yourself in, grab yourself a drink or whatever, and grab a seat. First off, you know this next gentleman. He is the co-host of the Hall of Justice podcast. He's also a part of Black, White, and Red All Over. He is a self-publishing comic book artist and creates fun comic book materials and creation materials for kids at youcreatecomics.com. Please give it up for our longtime moderator, Victor Dandridge, everybody.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Victor, good to see you. Thanks for being on the panel today. You had the honor of moderating both of these.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Honor is not even the word. Privilege, blessing. Yes.
There is a spreadsheet that I know Jerry has mentioned before in the past that most of us have access to. There's also a Facebook group where all the moderators live, and it's a fight. It's a fight.
No, it gets raw.
Who gets what thing. I throw the titles out there, and it's a bit of a battle, and Victor was not having anyone else on those turtle panels besides himself. And he got them, and we're going to talk a little bit about his connection to the Turtleverse, and then also how fun it was to moderate those panels. But thanks for being here, Victor. Let's get the rest of our guests out here. She is our social media director, and yet again, she has bugged me for months. She said, Mike, I am a huge fan of blank. Why am I not participating more in these things? And we finally have her out here. She said, I am not showing up to the Turtles rewatch panel. We love her. Let's give it up for Jazz BIEBLY, everybody.
Yes! Hey!
Oh, I love the RGB. I didn't even notice the RGB.
Yes.
R.I.P. RGB.
Right.
Jazz, am I right in the assessment that you would not allow me to have?
Oh, I would have crashed even if I wasn't invited. So, you know.
That's true. She does have access to all the Zoom links, so she would have just showed up no matter what. Thanks for being here, Jazz. So excited.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Yeah, so excited to nerd out with you officially on the Zoom and on the stream. Our two main guests joining us from outside of the Wizard World family, but have been a part with us in the comments and the chats, have been promoting for us, have been nerding out with us. I'm so excited. This is what Comic-Cons are all about. You know, when you used to do it the physical space, it would be like you interact with folks, and then you're like, oh my gosh, you're a big fan of this. Why don't you come on my panel? Or vice versa, or you're just on the show floor nerding out together. And that's kind of how this went. We had an awesome woman that was in our comments and is working and studying to be a child psychologist and wants to use Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and probably other pop culture to help children with their growth and their development. I can't wait to talk to her. Again, it was just a connection through the stream. We invited her on. She made time to be here. Please give it up for a TMNT fan with the heart of a child, Anna Gorman.
Hey.
Anna, thank you so much for being here. So good to just make a connection again through the sort of the chat and everything. And we're happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
Be here, Mike.
Anna, you what's been really fun over the last week, I've been going back and forth with Anna this entire week. And Anna's always been like, hey, I have class. I just have to make sure class is done. So thank you for not skipping any classes.
Yes.
And having this work out. Where are you currently studying, Anna?
Well, right now I am studying at Moorpark College.
Very nice.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. 3 more classes to go and I will graduate and hope to transfer to Cal Lutheran.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations
Yay.
and well wishes and good luck. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank
And
you.
last but not least, if you've seen this gentleman's podcast before, you know he knows about the Turtles, and wait till you see his background. He did a bunch of promotion for us for both of these panels, and we're excited to have him on, host of the Turtle Recall podcast. You can't get a better
come on, man. That's
podcast
amazing.
name for
That's
Turtles
amazing.
than that. Please give it up for Jason ASGARI.
Yo!
All right, guys, what's going on? I'm so happy to be here.
Love it.
We saved the best background for last.
That's
you know?
right.
Of course.
No offense.
This is just the normal room. I mean, this is not even the
Wow.
collection.
That's the I didn't
Wow.
even clean up. Like that's just the what this?
This
is every day. What do you mean?
I just had this. Hold on here.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. I want to go around the room. Let's do this quickly because we have a lot of clips that we want to get to and we want to react to them and nerd out on them. We have a bunch of fans again watching in the chat right now. Hey, Anna, Nostalgic Pod Blast said, "Good for you, very noble profession." So already some love and
Thank you.
support in the chat right now. We also have where else do we have checking in? Just now, Atlanta, California. Again, people watching from around the country. So super
Nice.
cool. Let's go around the room. Talk to me a little bit about what you do in the entertainment industry, your connection to sort of pop culture, but really more specifically Turtles and how that came about. Jason, let's start with you. You have a whole dang podcast surrounding the Turtles. So tell us a little bit about your fandom and then how the podcast started.
All right. So yeah, I've been a fan of Ninja Turtles ever since it started. As Mike mentioned, I have a podcast. It's called Turtle Recall. Basically, how the podcast is I've watched Ninja Turtles like pretty much all my life, but my wife never seen the show.
What?
So
Oh my.
we're watching the entire series, all 193 episodes. Right now we're in season 3. And so I'm giving you the perspective of like this huge super fan.
That's awesome.
And then my wife, who's like fresh eyes, who's never seen these things
Wow.
before. And I have been blessed. So this is our first year doing the podcast. Before the podcast, my wife and I, we've been doing YouTube. The YouTube channel is called Moving Lakposh Studio. Really hard to say because Lakposh means turtle in Farsi, and which is the language we speak natively.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and I've been lucky. I've been able to do panels for MomoCon and DragonCon and other conventions down here in Atlanta in my area, and I've been blessed. I've met actually Kevin Eastman, and we had him in our podcast recently.
That's
We have
awesome.
had Frele in our podcast as well, and I'm so happy because everyone that you've had in your panels,
Yeah.
I've actually seen them physically, and some of them I have interviews with as well.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I love that.
That is so cool. Ariel Shooting Star Ewing watching on Facebook says, "What? I need to find this podcast. I'm a super fan. Where can they find the podcast,
You
Jason?"
can find it anywhere you can find podcasts. We are part of the Res TV network. So if you go to res.tv/Turtle Recall, you'll find our podcast. You can also find it on Apple, Google, Spotify, all of it's over there. And our Twitter is @Turtle Recall Pod.
Oh my gosh,
Nice,
awesome!
nice.
And we'll throw that out again at the end for anybody who missed it. Oh my gosh, Jason, thank you so much for being here. Obviously,
Thank you.
a pro in the world of turtles for sure. Anna, let's talk to you. You're our second guest of the evening. Again, came in as just a fan, but someone who mentioned specifically bringing turtles into child psychology. Tell us a little bit more about that and your sort of thoughts and ideas, and then why turtles? Why the turtles?
Okay, well, this happened a long time ago when I was a child. I was born with autism, and I was really bullied a lot in school, so I didn't have any friends. One day, my father told me that being different is good, and he introduced me to the Turtles, specifically the 1990 Turtles on VHS.
Yes.
So the moment I saw them, I felt less alone, but I still felt sorry for them having to live underground and still being treated different like I did. So when it came to me for studying psychology, I know I wanted to take it because I wanted to learn more about my disability, but I also wanted to know if maybe somehow I could use my learning experience with the turtles to see if maybe I can help children that are born different. ADHD, spinal bifida, however it's pronounced,
There you go.
just any disability that has made a child born different.
That's
so amazing.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can all.
Yeah,
applaud.
absolutely. A superhero born. Facts.
Yeah,
Chance,
I love that. I love that so
Chance,
much.
Chance says, "I needed a therapist like Anna growing up. Truly,
Right?
was always getting into trouble." And you know, we're gonna play a clip a little bit later about the voice actors talking about just the psyche, if you will, of each of the turtles and how some people were affected by all of them. Some people really took a kinship to one or the other, depending. But I think Anna, you hit it right on the head. The overall message, and I love. I've never heard it, but we talk about each of their personalities. I just didn't even ever think of it as like them all being underground,
Right.
and not accepted too, and having to hide and wear those like human masks, which like takes on a whole new thing, or
Yeah.
and the trench coats and stuff like that. I just got kind of like shivers and all the feels thinking about it. But yeah, keep that in the back of your mind for sure, everyone watching. And we'd love to hear your comments on psychologically what turtles meant to you in whatever iteration growing up. And we'll get to some of those. And we'll hear from the voice actors who talk very specifically about it. But Jazz, tell us about, we've joked around, Jazz, just, at work and in work meetings about your nerddom, and you have a lot of passionate nerddoms. What about?
Yes, I do.
What is it about turtles though that particularly sticks out to you?
I mean, I think it's just the fact that the Turtles is just like the first real fandom that I remember growing up. Like, I cannot remember a time where I wasn't watching the Turtles. And that was the
real.
87 iteration too. And it's just,
Nice.
for whatever reason, I've just been a fan forever. So
Do you have a particular? What there's one stand? So I mean, Anna, you mentioned the films. Jason, what's your like entry point? What was your entry point? Was it comics? Was it 87 series?
It was the 87 series. That was like my entry point. I will say, like, because I was a kid, like when I watched it, when the 2003 series came on, that's like when I started to like, okay, I really want to know more about these things.
Yeah,
more
yeah.
about the characters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jazz, how about you? What would you say your like entry point is as being the first?
it was
big thing?
it was the 87 cartoons.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Victor, let's go to you because you got you one up us all as the historian in the group, if you will. I'm not calling you the oldest.
No. I heard what you said. I read between the lines, Mike.
Just to let you know.
I was gonna say, like, I'm old for what I look like.
So take us. But not everybody knew about the comics. You know what I mean?
That's
It really was the 87 series, I think, that really kicked it off. And then the 90s movies just really cemented it. You know what I mean? The live action film. But talk about where again you began and why would the comics stick out to you? And then sort of how was that transition into the animated?
Well, to be honest, like I actually started with the animated series. So it came on, I was a kid, and it was the retro find out that it was based on a comic book, and it really came about in that short span between 89 90 when the comic books or the cartoon series was getting all kinds of love, toys, everything. Then they announced the movie, and the movie has a significantly different feel, and so it's like, well, why is it so different? And that's when I found out it's a comic book. And then I go back and I start checking out the original comic book. It's fantastic. The showcase of it being a commentary on how dark comics had become at the time, and it's this source of Daredevil, and kind of talking about that in that mix, like that's just top notch. You guys know that, right? Yeah, I'm not sharing nothing.
Yes.
So growing up, I liked the second movie, The Secret of the Ooze, more as a kid. But then, like, when I'm growing up, I'm like, you know what? This first one is just the best movie ever. The 1990 is just the best.
I 100% agree with you, Jazz. I'm the same exact way. I was a kid. I liked the second one better.
You know why? I know why. It's because of Kino. We had a person that we could connect to that could do things that wasn't a turtle, and it's a secret sauce. Secret of the Ooze, right there.
The Secret of the Ooze. And
that,
what a good
for me, the first movie had like cursing in it, and I was in this sheltered life, and I repeated
oh no
like shout thing, and I got in trouble, and my mom made me like go to my room, and like that's like that movie like scarred me for her.
Shell shocked right there. Y'all saw it. Shell shocked. That's what it is. Yep. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Way to get a pun in there. Way to get a pun, or not. I guess not a pun. One of the classic phrases. The arcade games too, man. I mean, I think that's what really locked it in. Like locked it in for me was playing Turtles in Time, and then just the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. Because now now you're putting every media together. You know what I mean? You're getting them animated, you're getting them live action, then you can play as them and pretend like you're some martial arts turtle. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And we did. Awesome. Come on, admit it. We all did it. You know.
Oh, I've even played the arcade game recently, and I get so ticked off because I can't pass that second level at all, even with help. It angers me. I'm like, how did I do this as a child? You know,
I'm staring at my arcade cabinet right now, just to let you guys know.
Okay, so we're heading down to Jason's house after we're done filming.
Jason,
okay,
sounds
that's
awesome.
y'all know. Okay,
have pizza ready, man.
Yeah.
I have it. I got it on speed dial. Don't worry.
My first TMNT game, that would be the 2003 Turtles.
Nice.
That was a good, I was skeptical as I think all our old fogies were when the 2003 came about.
Right? Yeah.
But they really did an excellent, they did a great job.
They really did.
Yeah. And I was okay with the stylization, of it. And I think that, again, it was the video game. I think playing the video game where it kind of got me in. I was like, all right, these guys move the same. I mean, not move the same, but they have the same personality-ish, you know what I mean? Like have the same weapons, they just look different. Different. And it was another cool, like, oh man, we can reimagine this so many times now, which they've done since. Victor, you mentioned, I want to start getting to some of our clips from the panels. Again, we had two amazing panels. We had Judith Hogue, and you mentioned Kino himself, Ernie Reyes Jr., who not only was in Secret of the Ooze, but was a stunt double for Donatello. Not a stunt double, he was the stunt performer for Donatello in the first movie. They were both on. Such a treat. Oh man, they were so awesome. And then again, later on, 2 weeks later, just this past weekend, if you missed it, we had Barry Gordon, Cam Clark, Rob Paulson, Townsend Coleman, the original voice actors, the gods, if you will, with the lowercase g. I know we're in the holiday season, so lowercase g.
Art gods.
But I want to let's take a look at both of them. They both begin just talking about sort of the phenomenon, if you will, of Turtles at the start, and it's how it's lasted, and then a little bit of their first interactions, with the series and the discovery of the series. So this is first Judith and Ernie talking about the Turtles phenom in general. Take a look.
I did not.
No,
I did not. I didn't find out about it until it was really Robin Williams who clued me in on Ninja Turtles, because he had the very first comic book. He was a collector. He loved the series. He gave me my street cred about it. I was doing a film with him at the time.
Was that Cadillac Man?
Yeah. And I know, God, I can't even sort of say how influential he was. I think in my life and my career and how I do stuff. I mean, he was just such a master to watch working, but he used to say to me, where are you going? Because we'd work Monday through Friday. We were shooting at a Cadillac dealership in Queens. And, as soon as I could get out, I was always plotting with the ADs, like, how soon can you get me out? Because I would have to hop on a plane and zip to North Carolina where we started pre-production. And he just looked at me and went, we all want to be in this movie. I mean, he was super joking, but it was like, where are you going? And I said, oh, I'm shooting another movie. And I was a little bashful about saying the name. And I said, I'm doing this movie. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and, whatever. And then he said, wait, what? It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And he went off. And it was like, you know what I'm talking about? Because I've never heard of this before. And he's like, I've got the comic book and the whole thing. And then he was a champion. And then he came to the premiere and he brought his family. And it was just.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's super
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ernie, what
I had
about
a younger
you?
brother. Yeah, I had a younger brother who was into the toys. So I was familiar with it. I guess Christmas. It was the Christmas before we shot the first movie that I first really kind of got on got on my radar. And so I was familiar with them, and I knew that my younger brother was a huge fan. But I didn't know, what it was eventually going to become.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I told my younger brother, hey, I'm going to get to, and he was like, oh man, he lost his cookies. So
That's awesome.
It was about the toys, Victor. I mean, you mentioned that first. I mean, maybe they made the series originally for the toys, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, who didn't have those toys growing up? My gosh, they were so.
I had the toys.
I have none.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have
none whatsoever.
Like,
They made
what do you mean
toys?
growing up? I have them now.
Also, my gosh,
Right
like
here.
if you couldn't love
I have
Robin
my own.
Williams more, my gosh, you know what I mean?
Right.
And again, what a loss, R.I.P. Robin Williams. But to hear, to all of the things that he did and all the amazing stuff he did, and then also he was a Turtles nerd.
Yeah.
And
If he couldn't get any better than that, I mean,
Right.
come on.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Anna, do you how are you in the toy department, in the TMNT toy department?
Well, I do have my own collection. I just don't like to brag about it.
That's smooth. That's smooth. She's like, but no, literally, I have a vault downstairs. Don't even worry about it. It's big. It's
She's
big
like, she could be my collection. She just doesn't want to show it.
Right.
Jason, you made a good point before about it being sort of naughty's the wrong word, but there was an element of sort of like, ooh, like the turtle, like as a young kid, we were all kind of fawning over April O'Neil a little bit, maybe too much. There was like fighting and violence, if you will, but it was also like, I think, a safe way. Oh, Victor's child. I think it was also like a safe way to experience that sort of martial, instead of going into like, the real Japanese like films that were like way out of it. We could watch that as kids and get into the martial arts universe. I feel like at like a safe distance, if you will. Let's take a look. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
No, I actually totally agree with it, because I really think that was like at that time, and I can't remember how old I was. I don't want to say how old I was, but I mean, that was like really probably the most violent thing I watched, just only because my parents only let me watch like cartoons and that kind of stuff. I mean, we only saw G-rated movies, and like, I mean, they didn't think that this is gonna be like so much or anything like that. And just like with the martial arts and the violence in this one is such a good entry point for children, especially children like my age at that time. It did get me into it, and eventually, like when I was like 19 years old, I actually did study martial arts, mainly because of Ninja Turtles.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Ernie talks about it, and I don't think it's in one of the clips we see, but definitely go back and watch the videos about how the surge of kids taking martial arts in America. And yeah. All right, Victor, you said
that was me.
Because of Turtles?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it was definitely Turtles, which went into karate, taekwondo, all kinds of stuff. Like, yeah, that whole vibe it just spoke to the 10-year-old in me at the time.
It was the Turtles and the Power Rangers for me to get me into that.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I had the Power Rangers too. So when I was learning weapons, they're asking me which weapons I want to learn, and like the first one I wanted to learn was like the Bokito, which was basically a wooden sword, and then like I learned the bow staff, then I learned the size, and then finally was the nunchaku.
Oh.
And I can tell you, from all 4 of those weapons, obviously there's a reason I chose all 4 of those weapons, but the 4 weapons, my least favorite one was the nunchaku.
Yeah,
And that is like dangerous. Like,
I started with that one.
If you guys don't know, like UK actually censored the nunchucks in their TV series, and that's why like when CBS picked it up, Michelangelo doesn't have his nunchucks in the show. And this because it's the most dangerous thing for kids. Yes. And I didn't realize that until that moment.
How many, if only there was cell phones back, like how many videos of kids nunchucking themselves in the face would there have been? I mean,
face, body parts, siblings,
just TikTok. Just nunchucks to the face over and over again.
Yeah, ouch.
Christmas
Jason?
wrapping tubes, Donatello's little bow staff.
Oh, that's a good.
I do that now.
Oh yeah,
exactly. I still do it.
Yeah, it's a combination of bow staff and lightsaber. Like you pick which one you want.
Well, and if you cut it off and attach it with a string, boom, you got nunchucks.
You got nunchucks.
There you go.
The Sai was the hardest. The Sai was the hardest to recreate without it being completely dangerous. I think. Chance, we mentioned this before, but then I know we got cut off for a second. Chance would like to date himself. In that comic book was his entry point. Talk about old. I bought the very first independent comic book off the shelf in 1983 at age 12. He said, please don't do the math. Ariel, we were talking about toys, says their husband has a samurai dress Ralph. So there's a throwback there too.
That's awesome.
To the third movie, probably, right? I'm assuming that was like, Chinese throwing stars. Oh my God. Remember we would make them out of paper?
Yes. We would get in so much trouble at school. You don't even know.
Yes.
So good. Let's turn to, so that was Ernie and Judith, obviously, but let's turn now to the voice cast from the 1987 series, because again, we're talking about it now like it's completely normal. Turtles, like mutant turtles that are martial arts masters saving New York City, and we're like, yeah, that's fine. But at the time, it was absurd, right? Or or at least it was unique. Let me say it. It was unique and creative. It was unique and creative. But hearing it for the first time had to be weird as an actor or performer. And this is the voice actors talking about it. Hilarious clip. Take a look.
I thought my agent was on acid, basically. He called me up and said, I've got this audition for you for a thing called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I have to confess, I had not heard of the comic book. So it was already a phenomenon, but I didn't really know that. And I just said, all right, you have nothing better to do than to call me up and make up silly things. And what is it really? And he said, no, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I said, well, okay. But then, I saw the sides and they were so good, they were really cool. And I thought, wow, this is good. I don't know if it's going to be a success, because it's so weird. But I like
Nobody
it.
Tell Barry how good of a show it actually was. Don't tell him that. We got to keep it.
Yeah. But that was my first feeling.
I love it. Townsend, what about you?
Well, Robbie and I were working on a show called Fraggle Rock at the time. And I remember the director, the voice director on that show, a guy named Stu Rosen, came into one of our Fraggle Rock sessions and said, hey, you guys aren't going to believe what I'm going to be casting and directing next. And he opened his briefcase and pulled out an issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic. Oh, and wow. I had never heard of it, which is not a big surprise. I wasn't a big comic reader. But I looked at it and I sort of skinnied my eyes and I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I'll bring you guys in and, you'll audition for it and stuff. And so we went and auditioned and here we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in a nutshell. And it was, I immediately thought of, pitching that show to somebody who ultimately did it. Say, here's the deal. These 4 turtles who get coated in this ooze, and that enables them to do ABC. But if you're a human and you get coated in the ooze, then you become a rat. And so, but like Townie said,
at least you were a part of it,
Oh man, incredible.
My experience is a little different.
Talk to
you know,
us.
the basic question of, you know, what did you think when you saw the sides? I had just come off of a gig, being up at Will Vinton's studio, being talking lips who wear sneakers for a Kool-Aid commercial.
I think I remember that commercial.
So, what?
I remember that commercial.
Yeah. So I'm like, all in a day's work. I mean, what, you know, turtles from Ooze, talking lips with sneakers. I'm like, all right, you know, bring it on, whatever. Yawn.
Yeah. Will the check clear? I'm in.
Yeah.
Right.
Does it pay?
The best.
Oh my God, the '80s, man, so good, so good.
Just watching that, I could just see literally Donatello and Raphael talking in my head, like their faces when I'm just listening to that, just from their voice.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you missed it, go back and watch that whole panel because they do, each one of them does their voice at one point throughout the panel, and unfortunately we couldn't kind of like pin it, you know what I mean? But and the word and the thing I'm always, and Victor will attest to this, you know, you always feel bad asking a voice actor to do the voice because it puts them on the spot, you know what I mean? And they're like, you know, I have to get into it and blah blah. But they naturally did it, each one of them at least once, and it's you get shivers each time. Do you all have a favorite voice, a favorite a turtle that you identify with the most? You know, it had to come up in this panel at some point.
That question always, every time I do a panel, that question always comes up.
I know.
And I always say this. First, I don't have a favorte turtle. Like there is, I don't have a favorite one.
I agree with you.
All of them the same way, because they all bring something different, and that's what makes them awesome because they're a team.
Agreed.
But the one I relate to the most is Leonardo, because Leonardo's a leader. He's not officially the oldest. In some of the series, he's not the oldest. But since I'm an older brother, I always felt like I can relate to him the most. So whenever I have to choose one, I gravitate more towards him only because of the relatability.
And I think that's it. I think people phrase the question wrong. They always say, "Who's your favorite turtle?" That's like saying, "Who's your favorite child?" Right? Or "Who's your favorite?" You know, what's your favorite? It's more of just like, who would you hang out? Like, if you had to pick one to hang out with first, you know what I mean? Or who do you relate to the most? Or who do you identify with the most? I think that's Jason. That's the way to put it for sure.
Right.
Anna, I mean, again, you are hoping to translate this into your work with children, which again is so beautiful and so commendable. I would love to hear a little bit about your experience and then sort of how that will translate into your work.
Okay, well, for starters, what I do basically, well, this is so far thing. I have a blog on Facebook called The Sewer Hour. Basically what I do on there, homage to Kirby Morrow, the actor that played Michelangelo in Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, who died sometime last week or so.
Yeah.
So basically what I do, they're just pictures, but I am looking at from a psychological perspective. The only think of it this way. If you were doing it personally, you would probably just have pictures of the turtles just basically doing their fights and just hanging out in the lair. Psychologically, however, you would see things a bit differently. Yes, you would still have their fights and their times in the lair, but how about their emotions or their reactions? Say, for example, in the episode for the 2003 Turtles, Meet Casey Jones. Raphael was angry after Michelangelo defeated him. And when Raphael came down onto his brother with the pipe, Michelangelo showed fear on his face while Raphael had anger. That sort of thing. Seeing it from a different perspective, that there's more to them than just fighting. They have emotions just like people do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and beautifully said, Anna. So beautifully said, and I think that's what makes the series last. And I love that on this panel and in the comments we have so many different and even when you look at the actors, we have so many different generations, and that just proves that first of all, development and psychology, but then also creativity and nerddom are not ageist, and they're not they should never. And sometimes they get that way. People are like, oh, if you didn't grow up in the 80s, you won't get it, or if you didn't grow up in the 90s or 2000. It's not about that. You know what I mean? It's about the creations themselves and the characters themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. And we're gonna hear the voice actors talk about it a little bit, because again, they had to create those things for the first time being heard. People saw them on a page, but no one ever heard what they sounded like, and I think that's like super important. But we've got some comments already, and then I'm gonna turn to Jazz and Victor really quick. But let's see. Nostalgic Pablo says pizza was never the same after Raphael and Charles. we can all agree on that. Chance picks Donatello. Ariel says mine is definitely Raph. Maxwell says my personal favorite is Michelangelo, and thank Townsend Coleman for making him more vocally unique. And then Intergalactic DAB says Donatello and Michelangelo, leading towards Donatello though. So I mean, again, it's an endless. It's not even a debate. It's just a happy conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. But Jazz and Victor, if you had to lean towards one, or who do you identify with the most? I know.
I know. I can't. It's really like what Judith said. I can't pick one, but I mean, I guess I would just have to go with Raphael, because I feel like he's the most misunderstood. He's the one that needs the most love. So
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
he
awesome.
does have the hardest shell, but the softest inside. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Michelangelo has always been my favorite. So I was that bad person that immediately picked Michelangelo as my favorite. And it's crazy because blue is my favorite color, but it still was one of those things where the personality, the fun, and again, I love nunchucks. Like, it's so cool, right? Because he had that line, man, a fellow chucker, eh? And I'm like, that's so amazing. Like, how do you not love that moment? But
and this is what's so great about Turtles. No, finish.
I was gonna say, personality-wise, I am more like Leo, but Mikey will always be my favorite. Always.
Wise men say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for people.
Yes, like he taught me things. Okay, I'm a better man because of him.
Can I do the personality thing?
Yes.
Okay. Well, like Jason and Jazz, I don't have a favorite. Well, all four are my favorite because they each have unique traits, and also that way, no one is left out or jealous.
Nice.
But personality-wise, I feel mostly split between Michelangelo and Raphael, but mostly leaning on Michelangelo's side.
Nice. That's awesome. See, Mikey love. I love it.
Well, and the correct answer is all of them. I mean, you know what I mean? It's
right.
And it shows how smart the series, how good the writing was, how good the character. I mean, Kevin Eastman, we mentioned him. Jason, you mentioned him earlier. I mean, obviously a genius, to come up with these. And it's so funny. I mean, Victor, you said like my favorite color is blue, but I identify with the leader. You know what I mean? But I identify with the fun-loving, and that just shows you, to Anna's point, that like you can be whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter what color you are. But if you identify with colors, great. If you identify with psyche, great. If you identify with weapons, okay, maybe you have some. Maybe you need to talk to someone. But
you need a splinter in your life. You need a splinter.
Yeah.
Calm down.
But it's about the team. It's about the team at the end of the day, and that it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what the color you are, what the weapon you have is, what the personality you are. We're all a team.
Exactly.
Oh man, this is so great. Let's talk to the voice actors. We're not going to talk to the voice actors. Let's watch.
That would have been amazing.
They're here right now.
Coming to the stage.
People are having a great time in the chat as well. Keep the comments coming.
I've already met them, and they're fantastic, all four of them, the voice actors.
So good.
I'm going to say this. Last year, I got to meet all four of them. They're awesome. Cam Clark totally stole our son. Like, he loved our son so much. He actually took him out of the stroller and just like took him away.
That's hilarious.
He's now a new turtle, man. Like, it's what's gonna happen.
Well, and how about them? And again, we could have a whole panel just talking about their amazing personalities as actors. You know what I mean?
I mean, we should.
No, I know. I mean, just so humble. You know what I mean? So happy. You know what I mean?
Very
with their
much.
and appreciative of their fans, and never taking for granted. They've probably heard the same question over and over again about Turtles, and they've and Rob Paulson made a great point. He's like, it doesn't matter if I've had the same thing said to me over and over again. Every time it's just as impactful as the time before that we had. And you're like, oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Rob Paulson. Let's listen to them talk a little bit about what they brought, the things that they brought to the characters, Ike, if you will. Take a look.
Townsend, being from Cleveland, was a total surfer dude.
Absolutely.
Yes. Lake Erie surfing.
Big waves on Lake Erie.
Huge sport right there. Huge sport. Do not get in those waters. Don't do that. Barry, what about you?
Well, you know, I was the nerd on the show. I was the nerd in real life. so, but what we called a nerd then, of course, was, you know, someone who felt that brain power was a really important thing. And what I hear, you know, from people that come up to me in Comic-Cons about Donatello is the fact that, you know, people said, you know, I went into tech because of Donatello. I went into science because of Donatello. You know, and that just really warms my heart because, you know, these are people that are doing incredible things for humanity right now. And the fact that Donatello had even a small influence on that is just mind blowing to me.
Amazing.
I get fans who say I went into rehab as a result of Raphael. Whatever it takes.
I mean, I would have thought that would have been Michelangelo, but
I think we all get these comments all the time, especially when we're at Comic-Cons. You know, and with Michelangelo, I very often hear that from fans when they were kids, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old, and perhaps going through really tough times, even at that age. Perhaps their home life was not good, or their parents were splitting up, or whatever. And Michelangelo taught them how to have a positive attitude, or gave them the opportunity to smile and learn how, you know, to rise above those things with humor. Last year we were at a Comic-Con, and Barry, I think I shared this with you at one point, but one of the gentlemen there came up to me, and we were having a conversation about this very thing. And he said, you know, I'll be honest with you. It was Donatello, when I was a kid, it was Donatello who taught me that it was okay to be smart.
How about that?
Wow, I thought, wow, it's so amazing to me that, because I don't think any of us really, I didn't think when we were recording these shows that we were, you know, having that kind of influence on kids.
Not even close.
But to hear that all these years later is just amazing to me.
Yeah.
A thought just came to me with this question that leads back to your other thing about like interpretations, and like when you said, Robbie, about the creators going, oh, okay, we'll switch it up. As the boys know, they all got to be these goofy guys. And I was, pardon the expression, the straight man. hey,
irony abounds. What can we say?
I mean,
they were trying.
I wanted to be a silly clown like they were doing, and so I pretty much was wanting to be the character that I later got to play on the Tick with these boys, which is the, you know, this super, you know, this guy, you know, the hero. And I remember the director, Sue Blue, took me out in the hall. The guys have heard this, because I was starting to play Leonardo like this, wanting to make him be a cartoon of this guy, you know,
He-Man.
And she calls me out in the hall and she goes, what are you doing? I went, well, I'm just making him kind of silly like other guys. And she goes, don't, you know, you're the straight guy. So as the straight guy, the serendipity here was that the people who come up to me, because I played him earnestly and sincere and let these other guys be the crazy monkeys, I got the compliments of, you know, you were the leader and you taught me about leadership, as opposed to poking fun of being in charge. This is a new thought to me just this second.
So true.
As we're talking, like, well, maybe that direction answers your question, that I would not have chosen to play him earnest if I had given I wanted to be silly like you guys.
But that's such a salient point, Cam. Victor, this goes right to your point about, did you have any idea, ... And Townsend mentioned it. We before the advent of Comic-Con mania and the opportunity to social media and to get the chance to really have FaceTime, even virtually. I loved cartoons as a kid. Most of us with a pulse did. But I promise you, and I had things that influenced me that I still remember that mean a lot to me, usually because of the Flintstones, Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers primarily. But man, when you meet people who talk to you about these, like Cam just said, or Tony, the specific issues in their personal lives that were informed by a cartoon show. It is so much bigger than a paycheck, than an action figure, than we've all been rich and poor. Rich is better. But these opportunities to really have a legacy that, by their own admission, shaped people and changed their lives.
Yes.
Right. Holy shit.
Magilla Gorilla didn't quite change my life.
Not right.
Not quite.
So
not
it's
quite,
crazy that the Turtles had that influence.
Yes.
I'm growing up
Huge.
watching cartoons, and they were just fun. And when I turned off the TV, that was it.
Right. Right.
Oh man. And I mean, just to hear these gentlemen, 30 plus years later. Yeah, no, I mean, still talking as still talking as passionately as if it was day one.
Right.
Oh, so amazing. Hey y'all, we're out of time. We can.
Oh,
Come on, bring it back. Bring it back.
We need a part 2. We'll do a part 2.
We need a part 2. Everyone,
please do part 2. That'd be amazing.
Part 2.
We need more. We need more.
We need more.
We need 4 of them. 1 for every turtle. Let's go.
Exactly.
Tarf on YouTube, the ancient retro fart. Great handle. Says the TMNT streams were really cool. Appreciate us tonight. Joining in from the Netherlands.
Wow.
And then 4 turtle emojis right after. So thanks for hanging out. We had a bunch of fun comments in the chat. Thank you so much all for hanging out. I want to make sure to get in some time for you, because this is not only about us nerding about Wizard World virtual experiences, which I will let you know. If you would like a once-in-a-lifetime autograph, video recorded message, or hangout in a live experience with any of these voice actors, and they're actually doing a group session as well. Barry Gordon, Cam Clark, and Rob Paulson and Townsend Coleman are going to be doing that this Sunday, December 13th. So head to wizardworldvault.com. They're still on sale. It's an awesome time to treat yourself or treat a loved one. Take care of your favorite TMNT fan. Jazz is going to go hang out with them, I know. So that.
Oh, am I?
No, but again, these panels, these rewatches are not only about what the genres that we love and the properties that we love, but about all the nerds in the room right now, geeks, nerds, and that it's okay to be one. And it was great to hear all of them say that. So I want to go around the room and just again, one more shout out to all of our guests and tell us a little bit about where we can find all of your things. Jason, tell us once again about Turtle Recall and where we can find it.
Yes, you can find Turtle Recall here.
Perfect.
At res.tv/Turtle Recall or anywhere you find podcasts. We release it every Thursday and every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do like a live of the news section. So not only we review the episodes, we also keep you up with all the Ninja Turtle news. And
that's awesome.
There's hardly any right now in December, but we will let you know about all that merchandise is coming out.
There we go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ariel said, this has been like Ninja Turtle Power Hour. We should have done shots anytime we mentioned
I know,
it.
right?
Yeah, no. Anna, again, congratulations. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you were so close to moving on in the next stage of your learning. Yeah, your education. But tell us a little bit if you have any social handles you want to throw out there, or just what you're excited for in your professional career.
Well, I am hoping for my professional career, if people do not appreciate me telling the children how to accept their gifts like the turtles do, I might have to expand on my knowledge. So if, say for example, the child is not a fan of the turtles, but maybe a fan of the Power Rangers, I might have to do some research in order to figure out what the Power Rangers do, what the name of the characters are, how do they inspire the child, that sort of thing.
And there are comics out about that too, as well, the little mashup.
Yeah. No, and Anna, we thank you again. I think child development is something that's so important, and especially now when everyone is stuck behind a computer, kind of virtually learning and going back and forth. Anything we can provide the children, I think is so huge.
Definitely.
So thank you for hopping on. It's been so nice to hang out with you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jazz, tell us a little bit about yourself. Come on, tell us about your choir.
Come on.
Oh yeah, so Vancouver Master Chorale. Follow them on Facebook. We just dropped a little message to the community, which is like a Christmas card. We're all singing virtually and clips from past shows and stuff. You can find me at Wizard World, drop a DM if you want to talk, whatever. It's going to be me most likely, or somebody else, because Christine does the fan groups. So,
Nice.
but yeah, I guess the one thing I could say is when I was young and I got my first library card, somebody asked me, the guy working it asked my name, and I goes, my name's Jazz, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo. I dropped Channel 6, April O'Neil, and the guy literally put it on the card. It was like the most amazing thing.
That's awesome.
So good. So
That's
good.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Jazz, for hanging out. Also, I love the crossover aesthetic with our Wiz crew with the crowns. I didn't wear my crown, but I love.
Oh man, you got to get in on that.
I love the RGB and I love. Victor
I didn't even notice that. That's awesome.
That's right. That's right.
I almost put on my TCRI shirt too, but
Nice.
Victor, tell us about all your things. Come on.
So I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics. You guys can find me at Vantage In-House on all forms of social media. Check out my books at vantageinhouse.com. Also check out my You Create Comics line, which is the letter U, CRE, the number 8, comics.com. I actually just taught a class earlier this afternoon,
awesome.
which was fantastic, using onomatopoeia, engaging students on art, math, all kinds of fun stuff. So please check out some stuff. If you actually like this is actually my company brand called Geeking. So you can check that out. If you go to sellmytees.com/geeking, you can grab all kinds of merch and dress just like the hardest working man in comics, this guy.
Geeking is second only, Victor.
Yes.
To Turtle Recall. I go Turtle Recall.
Right. Like listen.
And then Geeking.
I bow.
Two of the greatest.
You know what I'm saying? Turtle Recall. I'm just like, wow.
Jazz mentioned it. Shout out to all the fan groups. Obviously, that's how we met Jason. The fans in the chat, that's how we met Anna. Hey, we are all in this together. We're all on an equal playing field, sharing this shared experience right now. And so we want you all to join us on Wizard World Virtual Experiences. So reach out, DM us, message us in the chat. Like, that's how it's going down right now. Yeah, so whether you're watching this later or watching it in the future, just reach out and we'll get you up there. If you're a podcaster, blogger, YouTuber, nerd, geek, you know what I mean? Whoever you are, we want you all to come and hang out with us. So my name is Mike G. I'm the director of programming, so I'm the direct link to getting you on this stream if you're interested. Intergalactic DAB says, this was such a blast. So fun to watch. Thank you all for hanging out in the chat. Some quick things, quick housekeeping things coming up for Wizard World. Literally, I'm going to take a 20-minute break and then I'm going to come back. It is free trivia. We do free trivia every Thursday night. It's geeky trivia, entertainment, pop culture, history, science, all them nerd topics. It's completely free to play. You get prizes, signed autographs. I think we've got like Tyler Hoechlin tonight and Tyler Posey autographs. We have a James Marster autograph coming out there for a random place. So completely free to play. We hang out just like this, nerd out, and I ask some trivia questions. So come play with us. It's at 9 p.m. Pacific, Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, just in 40 minutes time. Tomorrow we take a day off, which is crazy. We haven't had a day off in a while. Yeah, it's confusing to me.
Right.
But then on Saturday, oh, what a lineup we have. Victor will be back not only with Eddie Furlong, the original John Connor from Terminator 2.
That's right.
But also, speaking of amazing animated series from the 90s, if you know Batman the Animated Universe, Justice League Unlimited, we've got some of the voice cast of that, including Adriana Romano, who is a legendary voice director.
I have such a huge crush on her.
She's directed, I mean, not only the DC animated universe, but Avatar, The Last Airbender, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtles in 2012 series,
yeah. We're talking about that. Animaniacs. Oh my God. I mean, she's a legend. It's going to be so cool to pick her brain. So she's here on this weekend. We have 80s icon, music icon Samantha Fox, also on December 12th. And then for the very first time, we just announced not only Gotham on December 20th, but also the cast of Runaways. We are reaching out to our international audiences. So we do a lot of this English speaking, obviously, but we're going to have a Japanese translator for our Japanese audiences, and for a Japanese time slot translating those. So that's going to be super awesome. Our first
And if you or you know someone who can translate Japanese into English, give us an email at social@wizardworld.com.
Good plug. Good plug, Jess.
Perfect.
Yeah, and otherwise, just keep following us at Wizard World on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where you'll get all of your exciting announcements straight from Jazz. And I'm Mike G. You can follow me at Mike G Does Things. My favorite thing to do is engage on social media platforms and get ideas for new panels. Get in terms of celebs you want to see, but also like things you want to produce, and so don't hesitate to reach out to me as well. But that's it. Join me in 40 minutes for Whiz Quiz, our free trivia Thursday nights. And on behalf of everybody here, Victor Dandridge, Jazz BIEBLY, Anna Gorman, and Jason ASGARI, this has been the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Thursday rewatch party. Have a great night, everybody. Happy Hanukkah! Happy Hanukkah, everybody!
Hey, that's right.
Bye.
Bye.